This video is about Yahweh versus the pagan gods. What's the difference? What's the difference in their powers and their kingdoms? So the scripture tells us that Yahweh is the Father of spirits, from whom every family in heaven and in earth are named. We see the families on the earth, the families of the mammals, families of the reptiles and the birds, etc., the kingdoms. And then we do know that in the heavenly realm, there's families also up there of different type of spirits, different type of angels, and different type of beings that are spiritual beings that dwell in other realms. So Yahweh is the Father of them. And it also tells us the scripture that Yahweh is the Father of lights, with whom there is no variation or variableness or shadow of turning. Of his own will he begat us by his word that's living. So he's the Father of lights. The lights in the heavens, the luminaries, or the hosts of heaven, the stars, are also sometimes classified or synonymous with angels. So when you see a star, there's an angel in that star. It's there. They dwell there. Okay. So now we establish that there's families. The scripture tells us those things, and it also tells us the scripture that the eyes of Yahweh roam to and fro across the whole earth to show himself mighty on the behalf of those whose heart is perfect toward him. So Yahweh's spirit can see. The eyes of Yahweh and the spirit of Yahweh are synonymous in the scripture. So Yahweh can see inside the hearts and the intentions of all the created beings, all the conscious beings, including the angels and the archons and all that stuff. And then, of course, we have Messiah, the heir. And Messiah is the first or the only begotten of the Father that was begotten in that sense of the word, like so special, so unique, the only one, a unique one. And then because he resurrected, those who believe in him become just like Messiah. It says, as he is in this world, so are we. As Messiah is, so are we in this world. Jesus Messiah, because he resurrected. So he can, boom, connect in our DNA now, and he's going to do a redux, and we're going to be able to overcome death and decay and even the grave, incredibly, because our DNA is not connected and blended into his, into a perfect, sinless, righteous, half human man and half almighty offspring of the Creator God, but pre-existed. It's a beautiful, tremendous mystery. We believe it because the scriptures, when you hear his words, and you can feel it. When you read those words of power and the resurrection, you can feel it. So that's the kingdom of Yahweh, the Almighty Creator, Holy, right? The three, the family, Father, Spirit, and the offspring, the Son. And then we have the other kingdom, the kingdom of the fallen angels, of the archons, of the sons of God. The scripture tells us that the sons of God were appointed, 70 of them. 70 angels were appointed over the 70 root nations of the world, the 70 grandchildren of Noah. They all populated the countries and the land masses. And so he appointed 70 angels to govern that. But the angels transgressed. They manipulated and used the kings of those places and set themselves up as gods over these nations. So all the nations have some kind of fallen angel as a god. And you always see it by statues. When you make a statue and an idol, that tells you there's a fallen angel in charge somewhere there. And it doesn't matter what the statue is, obviously. The whole anyway, I'm not going to get into that right now, but so these are the archons. These are the fallen angels and the spirits that gave knowledge and technology to mankind in exchange for blood sacrifices. So all those ancient civilizations, very bloody, sacrificing and all that stuff, right? And all this goes back, and these are the same uh, beings that ran Atlantis, from the mythologies of Atlantis. It was always these higher beings, these gods that dwelt among men, mortal men, and they would interbreed with them, and they would create these demigods, and so this is what happened. This is why the flood of Noah happened. This is why Yahweh commanded David and Joshua and all those guys and Moses to slay all the giants that were in the land. And so all these giant mythologies, American Indians know about these giants. You know, they fought against them, and this is in their ancient legends that were retold. Remember, the oral tradition was important. It passed down. They could memorize a song that was 10 hours long because the children were taught to memorize these things and these stories, and they would memorize them perfectly, word for word, like a whole day's worth of a story with every detail perfectly set in there. So think about that technology, that way of carrying a message, you know, without writing it down. Or of course they did write things down. They had literature in the Americas and in the ancient world. So anyway, the point is, the ancient peoples always knew that these gods came and um, dominated over mankind at times and at points in history, and they preserved these stories. So the scripture, the Bible, is the one that's preserved, the one that Yahweh says, I'm going to preserve this story. There's many other stories. Oh my God, there's many other scriptures. But in the Bible is the one that Yahweh says, I'm going to preserve this. Read this. It's a story of humankind and our relationship with the higher beings. Because if you listen to your favorite artist or your favorite actor or whatever, and you listen to them and get to know them, they'll tell you a higher spirit controls me or gives me guidance or helps me. Another spirit, they say, right? So which spirit, right? By the fruit you will know. And so that goes all the way from Hollywood to Disney to Fifth Avenue Saks and all the way back to, like I said, ancient Babylon through Rome and everything. So these are the two kingdoms operating in the spirit realm. Let me know what you think and leave some comments down there. Bless you.